Well, hello, good evening, welcome. This is Ghana Tonight. We are live from our news at Desa Week and also live on TV3 Ghana on Facebook, DSFH channel 279, all across the world on videos. I am Alfred Okanse. Tonight, organizing a coalition of NGOs in health, including the Ghana Medical Association, of all serve notice to their members that they should not take part in the strike action. What could be happening on the labor front? Is there a real concern in there? It's a conversation we're having tonight. Stay with us. Also, we unpack the controversy surrounding the issuance of mining licenses. Chairman of the Government Assurance Committee of Parliament, a member of Parliament for the North Tongue constituency, Samuel Okudzeto-Ablakwa, is our guest on this matter tonight. Stay with us. And here on your Election Command Center, proponents of Human Sexual Rights and Family Values Bill earlier led a protest against the judiciary over what they say is a delay in the hearing of the cases regarding the bill. We have insights and some sounds from that protest. And what is next for the proponents of this anti-LGBTQ plus bill? That's the question we're asking tonight. We have Manifesto Check here on your Election Command Center. As always, you're an integral part of the conversation. Let's hear from you. The hashtag we're using is Ghana Tonight on Facebook and on X. Let's get talking. Let's settle for Ghana Breeze.
Thousands of Ghanaian citizens Tuesday morning marched on the streets of Accra to express their displeasure for the delay in the hearing of the anti-LGBTQ bill before the Supreme Court. Leader of the protest and Member of Parliament for Ningo Prampram, Sam George, issued a 2-week ultimatum to the Chief Justice to begin hearing.
The Muslim Ummah, led under His Eminence the Chief Imam of the Republic, and all other Christian medical bodies and groups across the nation, including Arise Ghana and Concerned Drivers Union, petition you as follows. 1, to please, and we plead, schedule hearings for the two aforementioned cases immediately as a matter of urgency within the next 2 weeks, so that the cases can be determined.
Teachers of the colleges of education say they must be forced to strike again after they suspended their 2-month strike in August. According to CTAG, their demands have still not been met despite government assurances. But President of the National Conference of Principals of Colleges of Education, Professor Samuel Antintono, says the strike will not be needed as most of the teachers' concerns have been addressed.
Students have gone on break if we were to follow the normal calendar by 7 September. But because of that, we readjusted it. Other 6 weeks, they extended the teaching period. And they are writing exams now. Today is the first day across all the 46 colleges of education. I would wish to use this opportunity to thank CTAC members itself. Of course, they went on strike for certain things from government. To also thank the intervention of the Vice President Office.
More than 80% lecturers of the University of Ghana branch of UTAG have voted to back organized labor strike on Thursday, October 10. The rest of the public university lecturers are yet to vote to support the strike. Meanwhile, other labor unions such as the Ghana Medical Association, the Ghana Registered Nurses and Midwives Association and the Coalition of Concerned Teachers will not join the strike. Government has 48 hours to avert the nationwide strike or risk all public services shutting down. In a related development, members of the Ministerial Ad Hoc Committee have been locked in a crucial meeting to avoid the organized labor strike set to start on Thursday. A mass vaccination plan for vaccine-preventable diseases outbreaks in Ghana has been launched to direct the national response to any vaccine-preventable disease outbreak. These diseases continue to pose a significant challenge to health systems globally.
It's a clustered response plan that brings together all the actions to be taken in the event of an outbreak and outlines the responsibilities of various actors for an effective response. So as has already been said, so that we don't waste too much time, we know this is the blueprint. When an outbreak of vaccine-preventable disease happens, what do we do? And I tell you that we currently have had a polio event, and we are following on these same plan, these same structures to respond.
Ghana has confirmed another case of mpox, raising the total number of cases to 2. The latest case involves the mother of a 15-year-old boy who was diagnosed with the disease in September. Health officials are now closely monitoring both cases to prevent further spread. Health authorities are assuring the public that they are taking all necessary precautions to contain the virus, urging them to remain vigilant, adhere to hygiene protocols, and report any suspected symptoms to healthcare providers promptly. In light of this development, additional resources have been mobilized to monitor other contacts of the confirmed cases, particularly the affected communities. Mpox, also known as monkeypox, is a viral disease that primarily spreads through direct contact with an infected person or contaminated surfaces. Symptoms include fever, rash, and swollen lymph nodes.
It's more news on 3news.com. Make some time and visit 3news.com. This is Ghana Tonight. Coming up next, we unpack that controversy surrounding the issuance of mining licenses. Chair of the Government Assurance Committee of Parliament and the Member of Parliament for the North Tongue constituency, Samuel Okudzeto-Ablakwa, is our guest tonight. And I'm sure that after yesterday, the appearance of the CEO of the Minerals Commission before the Government Assurance Committee, Martin A.C., gave indication that even if they stop issuing mining licenses, that certainly would impact on this fight against illegal mining. And there hasn't been any express directive to him to stop issuing mining licenses, because we did show to you yesterday on the Ghana Mining Repository website that mining licenses are being issued on a daily basis, and he confirmed this yesterday. Then today, we woke up to a document, which I'm going to show you in a bit, a document that's purported to be coming from the Minerals Commission, detailing the number of mining licenses issued by the NDC administration as against what has been issued by the NPP administration. And this has got a lot of you talking on social media. Now, this particular conversation was started by Samuel Okudzeto-Ablakwa, making reference to some over 1,500 thereabout mining licenses issued between 2017 and now. Now, I want to find out if indeed this document in circulation was submitted to the committee, and what did this Assurance Committee of Parliament make of that document when it was submitted to them by the Minerals Commission boss. But this is what you have on the screen there. And this is what a number of you have been making reference to on social media. And this, according to the reports, was submitted, this document was submitted by the Minerals Commission boss to the Government Assurance Committee, detailing 2012 license issue 332, 2013, 283, 2014, 105, 2015, and then it goes on and on. In fact, let's scroll it up a bit. And then in 2018, they say none were issued. In 2017, 7. 2019, 103. 2020, 621. 2021, 11. 2022, 148. It goes on and on. 2023, 38. 2024, 93. Total, 2,423. That's according to this document in circulation as we speak. Now, there's a fundamental question on the minds of many, especially because if this is coming from the Minerals Commission, this is actually just a PDF document. It's a one-page document. It is not on the website of the Minerals Commission, as far as we do know. We have checked what you see on that screen right now as against what is on the Mining Repository website. this Ghana Mining Repository website is a website operated by the Minerals Commission of Ghana. When we checked that information we just showed you with what is on this website, which is by the Minerals Commission of Ghana, that information is not on there. But this website is supposed to have all the information with regards to the licenses issued, the type of license issued, the companies issued this license, the start date of these licenses. What we have in circulation on social media is not on this site, operated by the Minerals Commission. Samuel Okudzeto is Member of Parliament for the North Tongue constituency. He's a chair of the Government Assurance Committee. He's joining us on the telephone. Good evening to you, Mr. Blakwa. Thank you for joining us here on Ghana Tonight.
Good evening, Alfred. Thank you for having me.
Was this document, this PDF document, with a list of licenses issued in each year since 2012, some numbers to it, as we have on the screen right now, presented to you by the committee, as in yesterday, by the CEO of the Minerals Commission? That's number one. And in this format, the PDF, and just the year and the licenses issued, was this how it was presented to you?
Good evening to all viewers of TV3. Let me confirm that there was an attempt by the CEO of the Minerals Commission, Mr. AEC, to present a scanty one-page document to us yesterday when we invited him to delve into the Galamsey crisis, which has engulfed our country, which poses an existential threat.
I see.
That document was rejected by the committee. If you followed proceedings, and I'm glad that your reporter was there. I saw the TV3 crew cover proceedings yesterday. We pointed out to the CEO in very clear terms that the committee has been working with data that he has put up on the Ghana Mining Repository. And when you mine that data, when you go into the data that his own institution, the Minerals Commission, has provided, it does not align. We stated that categorically. So I can confirm to you that there was an attempt to present that scanty document which did not have the list of companies, which does not have the concessions where the people are supposed to mine. It doesn't have the license code as you have comprehensively on the Ghana Mining Repository. So we rejected that document, and we have asked him to go and reconcile that data that they are springing on the Ghanaian people, surprisingly, in a very dishonest manner. We have asked that it be reconciled with the data that is available, which everybody have seen. Media houses like yours, you have done your own independent check. I saw your flyers that you put out after you analyze the data at the Ghana Mining Repository. I've seen what Imani has also done, analyzing the data at the Ghana Mining Repository. All along, everybody in Ghana knows that if you are looking for data on the mining situation, indeed, the Fourth Estate, Manasseh Azuri Awuni's organization, also use the Ghana Mining Repository. That's what we all use. So when the Minerals Commission CEO yesterday sought to distance himself from his own mining repository, only to show up with a one-pager, and nobody knows
and just to say this, that
for him and where it is coming from, we could not accept it. So it has been rejected, and we have written to him, to the Minerals Commission, to reconcile the data and come back to us with more credible information. We are not going to work with a one-page, hurriedly typed document without details, without breakdown, without license codes, without a concession, without any. You can't just come and tell us that this year 200, that year 400 licenses were issued. That is not how Parliament works. Parliament is a house of records, and if you are appearing before us, you must come properly with the relevant information required. And he fell short of that, and the dishonest attempt to discredit his own Ghana mining repository was one that came to the committee as a shock. Well, until we get any credible data to the contrary, we are working with the Ghana mining repository, and we made that very clear to him. The footage is available. You can air it for your viewers.
And in fact, just to make the point that indeed we here, and as you have just stated, even though the committee which you chair rejected this document submitted by the Minerals Commission, it is actually being fed on by the public across social media, and you have been drawn in there that you've been making reference to over 1,500 licenses issued within a period as against lesser issued between 2012 and 2016. So what you're saying cannot be true. What we have done is that with this document presented to you, which you have rejected, we actually checked, as you are continuously making reference to, we checked the Ghana Mining Repository. If it's actually on the screen right now for our viewers to follow as well, when we check the data there, it is indeed not consistent with the details of this document that you have rejected. So I also want to find out if this number of licenses issued as captured on that document by the Minerals Commission as submitted to you yesterday, was it supposed to be captured in here on the Ghana Mining Repository, or there can be a different set of data?
No, you see, we all have to admit that we cannot win the war against Galamsey on falsehood, on concoctions, on distortion, and lack of integrity. We need integrity. We need credible data. Everybody has been using the Ghana Mining Repository. The Minerals Commission CEO himself admitted that the repository is the authoritative source. So nobody knows where he came up with that document. Nobody knows where that document is coming from. And that document does not align with the Ghana Mining Repository. It is totally at variance. It's like night and day. And you wonder what is going on. I mean, if we cannot have integrity, we cannot have credibility. I mean, your own website, and as we speak, today, this very hour as we speak, what is contained on the Minerals Commission's website, the Ghana Mining Repository, is different from that one page. If you come and tell us, oh, these people issued 1,000, you have issued 900 or whatever, where is the breakdown? Issued to who? Where are the companies? You don't provide companies. You don't provide the concessions. You don't provide the dates. You do not provide the license codes. And then the Ghana Mining Repository, which is so comprehensive, which has all of this information, including cadastral maps. You are telling us that we should ignore all of that, what we have all been using all these years, and then follow you on this, journey that lacks integrity, that lacks credibility, with a one pager. That leads us nowhere and doesn't give us the relevant information that we need. So what timeline did you give him to come back to you with all the details beyond just the years and the number of licenses issued? As in, for instance, the license type, the license code, the companies that were issued these licenses as captured on this mining repository site, which is actually the site operated by the Minerals Commission, which should have this information that is on this sheet that you have disputed, but we cannot find there. So when are we to expect a reply from the Minerals Commission boss? We gave him up to next week, Tuesday, the 14th, to reconcile the data and present to us something more credible, something that makes sense, something beyond one pager, okay, which has all the relevant information. So he has 1 week to do that. And we have followed up with a letter reminding him that that is the position of the committee. So those MPP hirelings and propagandists who are out there, they clearly are just doing a hatchet job, and they are going to fall on their own sword. I mean, nobody has peddled any falsehood. Nobody has lied. We have all been referencing the Ghana Mining Repository, and those who suddenly are deciding to believe one pager, which may have been typed at the NPP headquarters. You see, extreme dubious partisanship is not going to move this country forward. We cannot make progress, and that is why the fight against illegal mining, it's turned out that there has been no fight at all, because it's always been about deception, it's always been about falsehood, it's always been about concoctions, and that is why we are not making progress. We're going to wait. All our river bodies are damaged, our forests are being depleted, the babies are being born with deformities, we are dying. There are mass murders out there, and what people are engaged in is naked fabrications, distortions, concoctions, and falsehoods.
Okay, we're going to wait for that reconciliation that you asked for from the Minerals Commission boss, Martin Ase. But I thank you, Samuel Okudeto Blackwell, for joining us here on Ghana Tonight. He is the chair of the Government Assurance Committee. He's a member of parliament for the North Tongue constituency. And we're going to keep an eye on this website. And you should do so as well as our viewers, because we're with you every step of the way, checking this publicly verifiable data. So you go on this website, Ghana Mining Repository. It's actually a website that is fed by the Minerals Commission. All the information here is fed by the Minerals Commission. So if that one pager we saw has been rejected by the committee, we'll continue to look whether the numbers here would reflect what was put out there, because as far as we do know, what is here is different from what the Minerals Commission boss presented to the committee yesterday. But coming up next here on Ghana Tonight, we'll stay a bit further on this matter of illegal mining, but this time around the part of Labour, because there appears to be some division over the announced October 10 strike, as the coalition of NGOs in health, including the Ghana Medical Association, also are asking their members not to take part in the strike and also stay at work. In fact, they're not alone in this. The coalition of NGOs in health have also joined in that particular call to have their members not join the organized labor strike. Now, the president of the Ghana Medical Association, Dr. Frank Sebo, risks being removed. That's the latest coming through right now. He risks being removed from his position as president of the Ghana Medical Association for what a petitioner describes as a unilateral decision by the president to exclude the association from the strike action. That's what you see on the screen right now, declared by organized labor. There's a petition to the Ghana Medical Association signed by one Dr. Vishnu Nene Lemon Abayate, citing Article 23.3 of the association's constitution as a basis. Essentially, they make the point that the above action brought the association into disrepute in the eyes of the general public and made the association appear duplicitous in the eyes of well-meaning Ghanaians, giving their previous positions on illegal mining. And that is one that is generated a lot of conversation as we speak right now. And essentially, this petitioner is saying he will try to mobilize the required 2/3 of the General Assembly required for this motion to carry. And they are enjoined under Article 23 of the GMS Constitution to include this in the notice for the annual general meeting in Ho from the 3rd to the 10th of November. So that is the latest coming through right now. A member of the Ghana Medical Association has now taken on the path of seeking the removal of the president for this decision to have GMA not take part in the organized labor strike. This was the information that the GMA put out earlier today with respect to their position on the strike. They say that they have not planned any strike or work stoppage. So all doctors should keep working as usual. And also, the GMA supports organized labor, yes, in their fight against illegal mining. The leadership of GMA will share more information if needed. And the GMA has not planned any strike. So that's emphatic from their position. And this is what has generated a lot of reactions as we speak as well on this matter. And what we do know is that the University Teachers Association of Ghana, that's the UTAG, the 15 universities that form the membership of UTAG went to their members. They took a vote to support or to be part of the strike or not. From what we're getting right now, close to 12 out of the 15 whose results we know have voted between 70 to 90% in favor of this strike. On between 70 to 90% of the members of UTAG have given their nod to be part of this particular strike beginning October 10 for the declaration on the part of persons belonging to government. Professor Sobaji is a security analyst joining us on Zoom for a quick conversation on this. Professor Sobaji, appreciate your time. Thank you so much for joining us here on Ghana Tonight. Help us understand this, and I'm going to go into the constitution in a bit, but from where you sit as a security analyst, what would really entail this demand for the declaration of the state of emergency? What actions would that trigger if the president declares a state of emergency on this water river bodies and then also the forest reserves?
Well, first of all, thanks for having me. I think ordinarily, there are Ghanaians whose livelihoods involve our rivers and then our forests in diverse ways. So a state of emergency declaration that bans activities on river bodies and in the forest is likely to affect some sections of society. But that is a more reason why you need the emergency powers. I think I set out in Article 51 of the Constitution, and then the 1994 Emergency Powers Act, to enable the government to exercise, more powers to enforce certain actions whilst taking into consideration, the well-being and welfare of some Ghanaians. I would rather support the declaration of a state of emergency so that there is a legal basis for whatever approaches the government intends to pursue, rather than using an executive instrument, which to the best of my knowledge is not subject to oversight by other arms of government, especially Parliament. So I will vouch for the state of emergency.
Right, and I'm going to come to you as to whether that would entail, for instance, the deployment of the military to river bodies and then also the forest reserves. But as you made reference to Article 31 of the 1992 Constitution, yes, indeed, the president, based on the emergency powers in there, the president may, acting in accordance with the advice of the Council of State, by proclamation published in the Gazette, declare that a state of emergency exists in Ghana or in any part of Ghana for the purposes of the provisions of this Constitution, continues, notwithstanding any other provision of this article. Where a proclamation is published under Clause 1 of this article, the President shall place immediately before Parliament the facts and circumstances leading to the declaration of the state of emergency, and then Parliament shall, within 72 hours after being notified, decide whether the proclamation should remain in force or should be revoked. And the President shall act in accordance with the decision of Parliament. And then also a declaration of state of emergency shall cease to have effect at the expiration of a period of 7 days, beginning with the date of publication of declaration, unless before the expiration of that period, it is approved by a resolution passed for that purpose by a majority of the members of Parliament. We do know Parliament is resuming in the next 48 hours. So if this is one of the considerations as Labour is asking for, this may happen if the president decides to cede to Labour demands. But Kenel, is this going to involve the deployment of the military, for instance?
No, there's no automaticity that when there is a state of emergency, there is necessarily a military deployment. It depends on the objectives of the state of emergency. And I think we've had states of emergencies before. I think 1994, thereabout, there was one that had to do with the outbreak of cholera. Now, not long ago, 2021, 22, we also have a semblance of, COVID-related emergency measures. Now, this Galamsey one is completely different from cholera and COVID. Now, first of all, we've all seen what I call the fourth industrial revolution technologies that are being deployed on the rivers and in the forest. Let me use the generic word caterpillar, for instance. Then this new technology from China that we call chamfan. And I think we all see different scales of chamfan. Some are motorized, they can, sail on the river. Some are static. We've seen generators, we've seen pumping machines, we've seen all manner of things. So I'm suggesting that the government needs to sit down, consult widely, including with other experts, then analyze all the information and come out with a comprehensive plan before the state of emergency is declared. And I think Ghanaians must understand that a state of emergency declaration does not mean that the entire country, the object will be the river bodies and certain distances. I think the law says 100 feet or 100 yards. I don't understand what common sense was used to determine that 100 meters or 100 yards away from a river, you can safely mine. When we all know that any washing that is done, the effluent will run back into the river body. You see, so it's quite a tall job. It can be done. But I think under the circumstance, the government is not approaching it with this kind of understanding that I think some of us have. And last but not least, indeed, that is the most important factor. The previous efforts failed because you and I know that there were political interests. The LI 2462 or whatever it is, for instance, was politically engineered to create a window for, politically related persons to go into mining. The Minerals Commission boss was before Parliament a day or two ago saying that his business is to license. I mean, for God's sake, you were made a commissioner or chief executive of a commission. So can't you use your prerogatives to make recommendations, to suggest to Ghanaians that your business is to sign licenses, and therefore you are signing licenses? It suggests that we are being led by the wrong people. It's for probably other reasons why he said that, which all of us can assume, political interest. So if the government hasn't got the political will and the political commitment to stick to whatever it is going to roll out this time, let's stop, because it's not going to work. You can put the Navy on the rivers, you can put the army on the land, you can put every resource into the operation without political will. It's not going to work, because the politically exposed persons will continue to mine. And when they are arrested, they'll be released to go home. In fact, they might not even be arrested to start with.
I see, but having stated this and the details you put out there about what the state of emergency would entail, why would you, from where you sit, also analyze that position of the president, for the lack of a better expression, being hesitant in declaring the state of emergency as being demanded by organized labor right now? Because from what we're hearing, it is not one of the favorable options that the president wants to look at right now.
Well, there could be other factors. Let's remember that we're in the campaign season, right? We have elections around the corner. Now, if a state of emergency is declared, invariably there's going to be some restrictions on the liberties of citizens in those areas, like freedom of movement. You may not be able to move freely in the areas where these rivers run and where these forests are. Now, that could have implications for, let's say, political party campaigning and so on. And then I've heard people, not that I've been told, I've seen political party communicators from the government side, and I don't think I should mention names, saying that there must be a shoot-to-kill policy. There cannot be any shoot-to-kill policy. If we need to shoot to kill, we shoot to kill enemies. The Galamseyers are offenders of the law. They are not enemies of the state. I mean, in a sense they are, but they are not enemies of the state. And given our own culture of trigger happiness, Ayawasu, West Ogon, Ejura, a shaman and so on, if care is not taken, and this emergency declaration, if it comes on, gives rules of engagement that allow security forces to shoot to kill, is going to have very negative consequences on human rights generally, and is going to have implications for, the elections. So maybe the government is aware of some of these, technicalities or some of these risks, but it could also be for purely political reasons. That at this moment in time, if a state of emergency has not been declared 7 years ago, this time, granted that, the Galamsey has escalated, is not the ideal time to declare a state of emergency. But I'm saying that it can be declared. It's the implementation that needs to be carefully crafted, designed in such a way that, one, it does not impair human rights and freedoms and so on, that innocent people are not arrested, like a woman coming from the farm with a basket full of banshee, which to some people might probably look like gold. And then you hear that they've been shot.
Well, Professor Sabaje, appreciate your time on this, your expertise on this matter as well. We'll see how the coming days will look like, because we understand there's some meetings going on. The 5-member ad hoc committee that was set up, they've been meeting throughout today, racing against time to meet the demands of labor ahead of Thursday to avert the shutdown of government business as per that organized labor, the strike that has been declared. But we'll see between now and tomorrow whether that first demand by organized labor for a state of emergency to be declared would be considered by the president. Professor Sobaje, retired, is a security expert, joining us here on Ghana Tonight. But here are the results of the University of Ghana UTAG today when they consulted their members on this TUC, that's organized labor strike. Out of the persons who took part in this, 355 of the people who took part in this said yes, they would want the University of Ghana UTAG to take part in this strike, and 88 voted no. That's 19.8% voted no, and 80.14% voted yes in favor of the strike. And this narrative is not limited to the University of Ghana UTAG. According to Professor Kologo, who is the national president of the University Teachers Association of Ghana UTAG, this runs through majority of the membership of UTAG with respect to their position on the strike. We'll see how things play out. But this is Ghana Tonight. Coming up next, some arrested Democracy Hub protesters continue to complain of inhumane treatment meted out to them. We'll get to that shortly. But also, up next, earlier today, the anti-LGBTQ plus members, protesters, hit the streets demanding that the judiciary should pay heed to these issues and compared to the passage of this anti-LGBTQ plus bill. We have details of that hitting this particular bill. He read the details of their petition to the judiciary earlier today. Take a look.
The Muslim Ummah led under his eminence the chief imam of the Republic and all other Christian medical bodies and groups across the nation, including